we're waiting. I feel like I should have played music or something. Okay, so I just wanted to come live really quickly because just to encourage people to read more. A lot of people say they don't like reading or they can't get into reading, especially with audiobooks, because I've been reading a lot of audiobooks lately. I can't get into the physical book. I was on a streak and now I'm just like, so I decided to start listening to audiobooks, and they are informational books. One of the audiobooks I started out with was The Science of Getting Rich, and right now I'm listening to Think and Grow Rich. Now, The Science of Getting Rich, I listened to 4 times. It's only about 2 hours long, and I listen to it once a day for 3 or 4 days. And each time that I listened to it, I was able to pick up more and more. I was able to pick up more and more information, especially information that I did not get the first or second time that I listened to it. So it's kind of like using the close reading strategy listening to an audiobook, because every time you listen to it, even if your thought goes off, when you come back to it the next time, then you pick right back up on it. And now you have a new idea that came to you while you were listening to the audiobook. So the last time I listened to the audiobook, I wrote down notes of what I paid attention to that helped keep me on task. So when listening to audiobooks, you want to pay attention to any mentions, allusions, or references that the author or the narrator is saying from the book. Because then you can go and research those mentions and allusions and make connections. And that'll deepen your knowledge about whatever the topic is you're reading about or listening about with the audiobook. Something else I pay attention to are symbols or symbolism. The author may be saying one thing but really means something else. A repetition, when a statement or a word is repeated over and over again, and I keep hearing it in the audiobook, I will stop and rewind so I can re-listen to that part. And then I'll try and research whatever deeper meaning is in that repetition, why that author wants you to know. Because if the author keeps repeating it over and over, it's because they want you to know this. That's why they keep repeating it over and over. So pay attention to sentences or words that are repeated over and over again. Vocabulary. Any new vocabulary or context vocabulary that's related to that topic or that you are unfamiliar with, pay attention to that vocabulary and research it. Write it down, look up the definition, Google it, okay? Commit it to memory because that vocabulary is important. You're reading that informational text or listening to that informational audiobook for a reason. Something else I listen for or pay attention to while listening to audiobooks are any connections that I can make to something else that I've read, connections that I can make to myself and my own personal experience, or connections that are out in the world, like on the news or in social media. Other things I pay attention to are any examples or explanations that's being stated in the audiobook. If I'm not familiar with those examples or those explanations, I can research them later, and that will help me better understand what I'm reading or what I'm listening to. And the last thing, of course, is major points and topics or arguments that are mentioned in the nonfiction or informational book or audiobook. Okay, and don't be afraid to listen to the book over and over and over again, because you are the one in control of your listening and your reading. If you feel like you're going off on some other thought or on a thought tangent, just pause or rewind, start over again. It's no shame in that. We do the same thing when we're reading books. We read the words, but then our mind goes off on a thought tangent. So then we have to stop and go back and read again. You can apply those same skills and strategies to audiobooks. All right. Or if you need something else that's a little bit more organized, I write mine in a notebook, or I grab a piece of paper. But then I thought, why not make it more streamlined. Everything's already like pre-filled in. You just have to complete your own statements. So like, what is this book about? There's a section for connections that I've made. There's a section for how can I apply this to my life? One thing that surprised me, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize when they're reading, even if it's a fiction text, whatever you read in that fiction text, you can apply it to your life. Maybe whatever the main character learned at the end of the story, you can apply that concept to your own life. But we don't think about that while we're reading, especially if we're reading just for fun. So writing it down and seeing it on paper can help us come to that realization. And then we get so much more from the reading. And I offer this as a free resource when you sign up on my website. Sign up on my website, www.TheyCallMeMrsKelly.com/blog, or you can click the link in my profile. Subscribe to my blog, and you will be emailed a copy of these organizers to help you with your reading, to get more from your reading. And these are not just for kids, even though they can be used for kids, but they're for adults too, to help encourage reading and to organize our reading. All right. And it comes with 3 or 4 different organizers meant for informational or fiction texts. All right. So follow me on Instagram at TheyCallMeMrsKelly. I am a reading tutor, reading consultant, and professional proofreader. Okay? Bye.